What's going on, Flames Nation, and welcome to a special off-season edition of the Sea of Red Football podcast. I am one half of your host and crew, Richie Longshots, joined by the GOAT, greatest of all time, John Manson. John, Wednesday night, how we living?
We doing good, Richie. Summer vibes. You got your vibe shirt on, and
Oh yeah,
we're ready for a great summer, aren't we?
oh yeah. The Express by Me is going out of sale. I got this thing for like 80% off. It just is the perfect by the pool, chilling. If you are listening, if you are consuming this in any medium, thank you. But if you are not able to watch this, it's just a nice, loose, light. My wife said I look like I'm out of The Godfather, which isn't always a bad thing, but it is what it is. But there's a lot to talk about because official visit season is here, John.
It's here. It is here. Let's Jackson Perry. Let's go ASOR is back. We are back tonight. You might have joined us last month. We're gonna try to do at least one a month. So another one in July,
Mhm.
and at least obviously at least one in August. But we'll probably do a few before we get going full time. In mid to late August, but yeah, official visit season. We had, man, what a weekend did we
Woo!
have, man.
Is it all timer?
Sunday afternoon, things were just blowing up, weren't they, Richie?
Yeah, I can't imagine the coaching staff and shout out to the entire social media team, the graphic team, because they were tasked with just pumping out commitment pictures and videos and all that stuff. What was the exact number, John?
So we ended up with seven, six that committed on Sunday, with the sixth of those coming at midnight. So in about 8 to 10 hours, we had six commitments, which is pretty crazy. And not to mention, out of those six, then we had a seventh on Monday. Out of those six, four of them had multiple Power Four offers. It wasn't that long ago, maybe a year ago, that I don't know if we had an entire class of high school signees that had four guys with multiple Power Five offers or Power Four offers now. So we had multiple of those guys, and so it was good. Also, four-star running back. Very notable to point that one out. But also, we ended up with seven out of the 14. I think we might get a couple more, maybe a few more out of that group that eventually announced their commitments here soon. Sorry, a little rusty here this summer. We'll get into it, but
Oh yeah,
but no, we'll. It was a great start. You got quarterback position taken care of with Ethan Houck. Got a running back commitment, wide receiver commitment, a few on the defensive line, also a defensive back. So great start.
no, for sure. And what people have to remember is this was the opening weekend of official visit season. So the fact that this staff was able to come in week one and nail 50% before they left the building is great to see. Give us a couple names, John. Don't need to go through every single player, but who are a couple? You mentioned position wise, but who are a couple players that this staff believes are going to be an impact when they get to Lynchburg?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think I shared this with you in a text earlier this week, Sunday night, whenever it was. The way this team and yes, this recruiting class is currently rated 69th in the country, and yes, I did see your tweet, Richie, about that, and I got your joke. I'm not sure everybody did, but I got your joke. But anyways, it is currently the country, was by far the best the Liberty's ever had. We'll see if it stays that high. We still got a long ways to go. Only seven commitments announced, and they've only got on threes. Only got five of them on there. But
Yeah,
what?
Rutgers is top 10 right now. I'm
Rutgers
not.
is killing it.
Rutgers is crook. Shout out Coach Shiana.
Yeah, they're killing it right now. But yeah, I think that what I was sharing with you in the text is this football team, this program has gotten to a point. We say it all the time, but how much it's grown over the past few years. Well, the roster has gotten to that point too, where this is the best roster. This 2024 team is the best roster we will ever have seen. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go undefeated and make the CFP. We could, but it's the best roster we've ever seen, the deepest roster we've ever seen. And if you start playing that out, when this group of 2025 commitments show up on campus, I don't expect there to be huge holes that need to be filled. So that doesn't mean that none of them will play. You always can have. We had T.J. Bush last year, started as a true freshman, played the entire season on the at defensive end, which is unusual, but he was an unusual case and didn't look like a freshman coming in, but also it was at a position of need. We lost a lot in the
Mhm.
portal, so last year was unique. I don't think you'll see that again with Coach Chadwell here. So to be honest with you, I'm not sure anybody will really make an impact next year. But that being said, Jalen Coleman's the 4-star running back that I mentioned. 4-star by two of the recruiting services, a 3-star the other. A guy out of Louisiana, 5'8", 150. Is going to come in as a running back. Some schools are looking at him as like a slot receiver. I think he's going to be, we're going to be looking to put him into that Aaron Bedgood type mold
Mhm.
that we've got, that we saw last year, and it might be a year or two before he gets on the field significantly because, we did get an NC State transfer that's probably going to slide into that spot this year. So, um, he's a name to definitely keep an eye on. A guy with, you know, double digit number of P4 offers. Bryce Randolph's another one, a 6-foot receiver, 3-star out of Florida. From like I said, Florida, 3-star guy. That's a position of need. We've kind of struggled again. 6 foot, he's not the biggest body, but it's nice to get him into the mix too. And then I think those defensive linemen have a real good chance. Sam Cohen, highly rated, Richmond product, 3-star. Also, Jeffrey Hairston. He's a guy out of Rocky Mount, Virginia, just down the street here in Lynchburg, and I think he's got a chance to be really good. He's got a few offers from some local schools. I don't think he has any P4, maybe one P4 offer, but I think he has a chance to be a sleeper and to come in here and really impress when he gets on the field.
Yeah, it's exciting to know that the staff is getting it done, not just in the transfer portal, but is getting it done with high school recruits as well, because that is a big part. You almost have to be able to do well in both in order to succeed in college football today. So, John, you opened the door and said the words college football playoffs. And we've all seen the graphics. We've all seen the schedule was released where, hey, if what happened last year happens this year, Liberty is playing in a playoff game. Um, some people are projecting it already. Way too early. Thoughts? What's going to have to happen? Three things need to happen. What are they?
Richie, this you're like reading my mind because I haven't even mentioned this to you, but I actually wrote an article that's going to be coming out later this week
Oh,
that's got the three things that Liberty has to do to
John, I'm
to,
telling you,
to reach the CFP. So
John's got. I tweeted this. It takes me weeks to write a blog. Like I have an idea, and then I run it by our Sea of Red chat, and then I text like Jay Dizzy. I'm like, "Do you think this would be funny?" And then I take another week to write the blog, and then I send it out to everyone. I'm like, "Is this funny?" And then I take another week to put the blog into WordPress. And John's probably got 35 blogs in the chamber ready to roll.
I've got a few. We've got one, Liberty's Path to the CFP in 2024, coming out here later this week. But no, I kind of break it down. And number one, you have to win Conference USA. Like
Hmm.
that's a requirement because who gets the bid? It's the highest rated Group of 5 conference champion. Conference champion being the key phrase there is if you don't win your conference, you're not going to get in as a G5 team. So, but if you are the highest ranked G5 conference champion like Liberty was last year, you don't get to go to New Year's Six Bowl anymore. Now with the 12 team playoff, you get an automatic bid into the playoffs. So Liberty's got to win that. Also, we know about the strength of schedule. Last year's the worst in the country. This year, it's better on paper. Entering the season, it's still, depending on what site you look at, it's either the worst in the country or in the 130s. so it's down near the bottom. I think it might rise a little bit. I think East Carolina is going to be better than some people think. I think a couple teams in Conference USA will improve on their resume numbers, computer numbers, if you will, as we
Yeah,
get
and
the season.
if Western Kentucky beats Alabama,
If
what
yeah,
what yeah.
if
I know a couple Liberty fans out there that think it's gonna happen. So
yeah, but with that being said, Liberty strength of schedule is going to be near the bottom of the country. They don't have a Power Four opponent. We've talked about that before, but they basically have to go undefeated. Is there a chance that they lost one game to an App State by 3 points in overtime or something that they could sneak in? Sure. Is it likely? No. They have to win Conference USA. They have to 99.9%. They need to go undefeated. In addition to that, I think they need the third thing is I think they need a little bit of help.
mm,
If a Memphis goes undefeated in the AAC, look up their schedule. They're going to get the bid over
yeah.
us. If Memphis only loses one game in the AAC, they likely get the bid ahead of us. Boise State's another team to watch that, if they go undefeated or lose just one game, they could get in. You got to watch the winner of the Sun Belt. Hopefully they got multiple losses, whether that's a Troy or an App or somebody like that. So Liberty needs some help. They need there not to be another undefeated Group of Five conference champion. And then, it was a perfect storm last year. Not only was there no other undefeated Group of Five champions, there were no other one-loss Group of Five champions. SMU had two losses.
Yeah.
Troy had two losses. The MAC champion had multiple losses. Mountain West beat up on each other, and I think their conference champion had 3 or 4 losses. So, is that going to happen this year? I don't know, but you want chaos to happen. So once the calendar rolls around and we're playing football week 0, week 1, have your list of those top 10 to 15 Group of Five conference champion contenders and pull for them to lose. You want those teams to lose. You also want Liberty's opponents to fare well. So you want East Carolina to become a bowl team. If they can go and win 6 or 7 games in the AAC, they're no longer a 100th ranked team in the country. They're now a 60th ranked team in the country. That's huge for strength of
Hmm.
schedule. So those are some of the things. You want App State to win. I mean, if App State goes, if Liberty goes undefeated and App State loses one and it was to Liberty, or I think, don't they play a Michigan or somebody? They play a
I think he'd do a
power
big, yeah.
conference opponent. So maybe they lose that one. So if they go 10-2 with those being the only 2 losses, that's a good win for Liberty. So
Hmm.
again, you need to take care of business. But yeah, those are the main 3 things. And of course, that'll be something we'll talk on this podcast every week during the season, as long
Yeah.
as Liberty keeps winning. And sure we'll also cover it on the website as well.
Yeah. First off, I'm glancing over at the USA Brazil game right now. So if I'm just like looking up, I'm not just going crazy. But it was interesting last year, we didn't really talk about New Year's Six Bowl until November. Very early November. We're like, this could happen. But I feel like it's an actual opportunity now where it's something we're going to be tracking. Clemson, it's shout out Matt, thank you. App State plays Clemson. Could be winnable. Dabo, not a transfer portal guy, but I digress. But I'm excited that we're going to be able to track this. Maybe we'll make like a nice graphic that have like all the teams we're rooting against and just, all right, one loss, they're out. One loss, second loss, they're like, keep a good graphic going.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of have to wait till you get into the season, 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and kind of see how things are shaking out, and of course, Liberty needs to win. Like that's most important. But yeah, definitely something we'll track throughout the season. You're right. We didn't talk about New Year's Six until the last, maybe I don't even know if the last month of the season. I think it was after we beat Western Kentucky on the road. I can remember
Yep,
thinking
Halloween.
after we got that win, I was thinking, okay, we have a chance to go
Yeah,
undefeated. That was the first time my brain had kind of flipped to that. So that was when I first started thinking about the New Year's Six. But at that point in time, there was a lot of teams we needed to lose, but we know how that played out. It all worked out well. So yeah,
good things happen to good people.
we'll definitely track that this year.
Yeah. So as always, thank you for tuning in, checking us out. We have some incredible sponsors that support us. that we support, and we are going to take an opportunity to hear from one of them. It's going to be whoever John picks, and I'll talk about more of them whenever we get back from that.
Hey Flames Nation, this is Kyle Rode.
This is Rachel Roop.
This is Kato Salter.
We would just want to say thank you for supporting athletes like us through the Flames Rising Collective.
The Flames Rising Collective is a registered 501c3, providing opportunities for student athletes to use their name, image, and likeness while serving our local community.
100% of everything contributed to the collective will go directly to creating name, image, and likeness opportunities for Liberty student athletes.
Help us be champions for.
Let's talk about the people in that video for a moment.
I was just thinking the same thing. We'd
be remiss. Caden Salter, I think, is the GOAT. I think if the season goes well, he's the GOAT. That's neither here nor there. We could debate this on Twitter, and we could debate it on the podcast. Rachel Roop, shout out to softball team. What a phenomenal shout out softball. What an incredible season to come that close against
and shout out
to Roop,
team. Man. She's
an animal.
Incredible season, and she's back again for next year. So, man, I'm not trying to jump ahead to spring next year, but I'm definitely going to be looking forward to some Liberty softball, and they should be really good next year. And Rachel Roop had a great season.
No,
and Kyle Rode.
He's going to be throwing alley-oops to LeBron, apparently.
I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but he's already had 3 workouts with 3 different NBA teams, the Pacers, the Lakers, and the Warriors. So shout out to Kyle. I think he's already signed with a foreign team. Was it a German team maybe?
Yeah.
And, so he's got that, but he's giving it a run at the old NBA. So, good luck to him. I think he's out in California right now.
Yeah, and what links those 3 student athletes together is the fact that they work with the Flames Rising Collective, which is a collective we have here at Liberty. 100% of the money goes straight to the student athletes. We are lucky to have a donor that has said, I will cover all the processing fees, such as lawyer fees and accountant fees and stuff like that. All that money, 100%, is going straight to the athletes. And it has played a part. It is playing a part currently, and will continue to play a part in the success of Liberty Athletics. So we're talking about schedule a little bit. We talked about the schedule of other teams. We talked about who Western Kentucky had. We talked about who App State had. But about 2 weeks ago, we've had the schedule. But 2 weeks ago, we got times. And to me, that's what I'm more excited about. I love getting times. And John, can we throw it on the screen?
I don't know if I can throw it on the screen. I don't have it ready to do that, but I've got it on
we
my
can talk
phone
about
here.
it.
We can talk.
We got John and I both have them on our phone. This is great. This is great for anyone that's looking live. And right off the bat, because honestly, at this point, everyone here should know what the schedule looks like. We don't need to put it up.
That's what you do in the summer, right? You're kind of like, if you're not at the pool, maybe you're in the office and you're sitting there thinking, how much more time I got? Oh, let's check this schedule. Okay, we got Campbell. Then you're studying the schedule. I do that.
Yeah,
don't we all?
But what I love, break out the pajamas
for week 2.
Break out the quarter zips. We're playing night games. No one loves night games more than Richie Longshots. And last year, I felt like outside, obviously we're going to have night games in the month of October. That's a given. But outside of that, UTEP? I feel like that was late afternoon.
No, UTEP was an afternoon game. Even the opener against Bowling Green, wasn't that noon?
Yeah, maybe 1 o'clock.
Games, yeah.
But no, to go our home games, 6 p.m. against Campbell, 6 p.m. against UTEP. ECU, that's still to be determined.
It's probably going to be 6 o'clock too, if I had to guess.
Yeah, give me 6 o'clock night. They're the best. Obviously, October is going to be the night games.
You might only have one afternoon game. That Western Kentucky game in November at home, that's to be determined. So it could be night. It's up to TV. It'll probably be afternoon though, but the rest will be all in the evening.
That's a big thing, John. You just mentioned TV. A lot of games that are going to be on not just ESPN Plus, but are going to be on the linear ESPN channels.
Yeah, no, to get that week 2 game on ESPN2, that's more than ESPNU, obviously, or ESPN
Hmm.
News. I'm pretty sure it's the only time Liberty, or the first time Liberty has ever been on ESPN2 or higher in a regular season game.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. It is a late game, 10 o'clock. Uh, I am trying to convince myself to make the trip out there to New Mexico, but we'll see how that goes. I was actually texting our buddy Damien. He made the trip a couple years back, and just trying to see how his plans were. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a good game. That's actually a game that I'm really interested by. Obviously, week 1 against Campbell. We should take care of business if everything goes well. But New Mexico State, obviously, is a Conference USA championship game rematch.
Yep.
But it's a completely new New Mexico team. I mean, from coaching
Yep.
staff on down, Diego Pavia is gone.
He's
Their
at
head coach-
Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Yep, Jerry Kills at Vanderbilt. They got a whole new team. A lot of guys went to the portal. That doesn't mean they're not going to be good. They could still be good. We saw what we did last year. I don't expect that to happen. That's unusual. But they're going to be licking their chops for us week 2 under the lights out there in New Mexico on ESPN2.
Yeah. Um, and I do like the way the schedule sets up: Campbell, New Mexico State, UTEP, and then the two big ones, the two out of conference. Thank you, Benjamin. Love that. I can't wait for nighttime games. I completely changed the amount of games that I'm going to based off of the fact that they're night games. I don't want to wake up, go to Williams Stadium, tailgate for 2 hours, and then go to the game. I want to hang out. I want to go watch college football at Chili's, and then tailgate, and then go to the game. So ECU and App State, those are the two big ones. And obviously, we're going to do deep dives into these games, but I've been following ECU. They have made some noise in the transfer portal. A lot of people look at that record from last year. They had 2 wins, I think. That's not going to happen again. They went into the
No.
portal. They got some P4 guys, and I think they're honestly, this is not we're not going to be double-digit favorites this game. I genuinely don't think so.
Honestly, I think East Carolina, outside of potentially Appalachian State, I think East Carolina is going to be the most talented team that we face on this schedule. That doesn't mean they're the best team or the second best team, but their roster is very talented. It's going to be very talented, so it's not going to be an easy game. They're going to be looking at that game early in the season, trying to make some noise. They do play App State early in the season too, so that's going to be interesting. We can see the outcome of that one before we play those two. But I agree with you, Richie. I put that in an article earlier this spring, summer, whatever it was, saying that East Carolina is a sleeper game. Don't sleep on them. It's gonna be a tough game. Just because they were 2-10 last year doesn't mean anything. I expect them to contend for bowl eligibility this season.
Yeah.
And it won't be an easy win for us. And especially, with it being the week before App State, everybody's already talking about that App State game. Well, you got to take care of business against East Carolina first before you even worry about the App State game.
No, it's a big time look ahead game. Group of 5 guys tweeted out, and shout out to the Group of 5 guys. I know they have a podcast going on right now. I hate when we're at the same time as them, and I didn't realize we scheduled this 2 weeks ago, and it is what it is. But they're awesome. So if you are checking us out, please check them out. It is so important to learn more about what's going on with just Liberty football. Hear about what's going on in other schools, especially in the Group of 5, where we were just talking about earlier, where we're going to need to root for a little bit of chaos. So they're going to do such a great job of talking about what's going on in those conferences, way more in depth than what we will. But the App State game, just absolutely massive. It's already being circled as the big G5 game of the year. Could be college game day, maybe. I haven't looked at what's
we'll
out
see
there, but
we'll see what happens there. But I'm intrigued by both of those games. I think it makes our non-conference schedule a lot more interesting than last year. Obviously, you got Campbell. I'm fine with that as an FCS opponent, and then UMass later in the year for the last time we have to play them. But that's good. But Richie, what about Conference USA? Who do you think is going to be our top competitors there? Obviously, Liberty is a heavy favorite. Are there some other teams that you have kind of your eyes on?
So we were looking earlier. Obviously, it is June, and there's a lot of time between now and then. But Vegas has already started to put out their odds when it comes to conference championship. Who's going to win that conference championship? So Liberty is the heavy favorite. They are minus 165. That's probably the biggest favorite in college football and all the conferences. And what that means, if you're not a gambler, that means you would have to wager $165 to win 100 for Liberty to win the conference championship. So the heavy favorite there, Western Kentucky, the second choice at plus 380, Jacksonville State plus 490. And what that means is that if you bet 100, you would win that 490 if Jacksonville State won. After those three, it jumps off heavily to Sam Houston State at plus 2,000. So $100 bet would win you $2,000.
Which is kind of interesting that Sam Houston's fourth biggest favorite, right?
Yeah, and after that's Middle Tennessee plus 2,600, La Tech plus 4,500, New Mexico State plus 5,500, UTEP plus 5,500, and Florida International, a $1,000 bet if they should win the conference would win you $10,000.
A lot of money.
$10,000. A lot of money. A lot of money you could donate to the collective. And if that's the case, we'd probably need it.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly right.
I wouldn't jump Western Kentucky right off the bat. I think Jacksonville State would be the team who I would play in that situation. Do I think Liberty's going to win the conference? Absolutely, 100%. Don't flip this and say, Richie Longshots doesn't think that Liberty's going to win the conference. Richie Longshots is drinking. Nope, Richie Longshots is drinking Country Time lemonade. I'm keeping it cold, so let's just get it all out of the way now. But I think Jacksonville State at plus 490, if they get to the game against Liberty, it's at least a hedging opportunity. But we're not being homers when we say we think Liberty is going to win the conference. The people that stand to make a lot of money think we're going to win the conference as well.
Yeah, but it also goes to show that, outside of Liberty, Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State are the next two most likely contenders. Everybody, it kind of falls off from there. And I agree with that. I think one of those three teams will win the conference championship. I think two of those three teams will end up playing the conference championship game, even though New Mexico State kind of came out of nowhere last year. I don't think many people have projected them to compete for a conference championship and win 10 plus games, but they came on strong at the end of the year. But yeah, I think Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State are both good teams. They're going to be right there in it. And it's interesting, the schedule is more favorable. The conference schedule this year for Liberty is more favorable than it was last year. Last year,
all Wednesday games.
That and we had to play at, I'm talking home and away. We had to play at Western Kentucky. We had to play at Jacksonville State on a 5-day turnaround. Remember, we talked about that a lot last year. That doesn't happen this year. We get Western Kentucky at home. We get Jacksonville State at home. We also, our October schedule, we have no short turnarounds. There's lengthy turnarounds. I mean, we've got like 10 days before our first week day game, which is against FIU. Then we got 2 weeks off before we play Kennesaw State. And then, at the back end of that, before we play Middle Tennessee, which is a road game, we got like a week and a half off there too. Yeah. So it works in our favor. We also got the two biggest competitors playing at Williams Stadium. So again, if you're planning out your season schedule for this year and you can only make it to Williams Stadium for a game or two, I would obviously East Carolina is one that you can consider, but the other two would be, and these two really mean more than the East Carolina game does. It is the two conference games against Jacksonville State and Western Kentucky. Jacksonville State's on a Wednesday night, October 30th. So right before Halloween, and then you got Western Kentucky in late November, the week before Thanksgiving. So try to make it out to either one of those games or both of those games, and make sure we do all we can to support the Flames. Yeah,
and we have the Black Friday game this year. Excited about that. There's there a time for that yet?
It's 3:30 Eastern. Which that's in Texas, so I think it's 2:30. That's a perfect game. Another CBS Sports Network game. So great time slot. You're not going to have a ton of competition. Obviously, no NFL games. You probably have a couple other Black Friday games going on,
Sure.
but one of a handful of games on TV.
Yeah, I'm excited. I played a charity golf scramble every Black Friday, and it ends right around like 2 o'clock, so it'll be perfect to just jump right in there uh, and enjoy that. So we are going to hear from one more sponsor before we jump into a little bit more Conference USA chatter, and I don't know who it's going to be, but I'll talk about it when we get back.
Well, hey, everybody. My name is Jason Porter. I'm with Legacy Realty and Development, and it's been a great partnership here with Sea of Red lately. I was with Liberty Athletics as the Associate Athletic Director for Sports Medicine, so took care of all of the healthcare needs and coordinated that with a fantastic staff at Liberty in the athletic department, of course, for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved into real estate full time and with Legacy Realty and Development. And it's just been a great pleasure to continue to stay connected with my Liberty University family and the athletics family as well. Been enjoying serving them. A lot of the graduate assistants and some of the staff that I hired has come back now and has been using me for residential services, which I really appreciate. But certainly do residential real estate as far as buying and selling of homes, of course. And then also we have a strong commercial presence as well. So commercial real estate, obviously a very, very different animal than is residential. But whether it's buying and selling commercial properties or just the leasing of properties, we can help with that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to service our commercial clients as well. And then certainly on the investment front too, a number of folks who have discovered the power of passive income through real estate and investing in real estate with rental properties or fix and flips, those kind of things. And so great joy to serve my clients in that capacity as well. The other thing that I would add too is just a very, very full Rolodex at this point of contractors and subs and just different professional contacts that I've made through the years. So if I can ever provide any of those folks to you and all of a sudden you need a plumber or an electrician or a contractor to build your deck, whatever, I'd certainly be glad to give you access to that Rolodex and those references as well. Because a lot of times it's not exactly who you know, it's who you know that knows how to do the job well. And so I would be glad to provide those services for you as well. So love Flames Nation, love taking care of my Liberty family. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, my contact information is all right here on the screen. And I would love to be a service to you and yours. Thanks so much.
Brazil just almost scored. Sorry.
Love JP. I actually saw him a couple of times this week already. Both of our kids are going to Vacation Bible School over at Thomas Road and bumped into him, and he's excited to sign on again for this coming year as a main title sponsor for the podcast, and we'll be back on. We won't be doing a live with 5-5 segment anymore. Shout out to Brendan Schlittler, who has moved on, but we'll have another
follow him on social media.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be having JP on, Jason Porter on again with us some other time. Another segment, I don't know what it'll be called, but glad to have him back. And if you're in the Lynchburg area, be sure to reach out to him with any real estate you have. He's the OG. He's been with us since the beginning. Yep. And been a great supporter of Liberty and also a Sea Red.
I always say if I hit the lottery, one of the first things I'll do is get some houses. But one of those houses will be in Lynchburg, and I will 100% purchase it through Jason Porter. John, you said is it VBS season?
It's VBS season. So, it wasn't that long ago, a few years ago, when both of my kids were in VBS. Now I only got one, but my wife would take them to just about every Vacation Bible School around town. I mean, they went to Vacation Bible School every week. It was a genius. First, I was like, why are you doing this? And then I finally realized I know why you're doing this. So now as they've gotten older, like I said, only one of them's in VBS still. They only go to like 2. They go to Thomas Road, does a great job with their VBS. It's quite a show that they put on.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's quite a show. But they go there and then also to our church, obviously, too. So VBS season.
It is VBS season. I told this story in our group chat. I was illegally playing for a church in a church softball league. And we basically said, all right, hey, if he comes and volunteers at VBS, the pastor will vouch for him. Very little rules in the New Jersey church softball leagues. So I showed up at 5:30 p.m. for a week straight, and they were like, just follow this kid around who needs just an extra set of eyes. So I just hung out in the back of the room and like, hey, go.
That's great. That's great.
And then at the end of the week, I hit a big bet on Thursday night, and I brought like hundreds of dollars worth of chips and snacks. I just raided Costco, and I'm like, I just handed it to the youth pastor. I'm like, here's for the fall when I'm not coming here ever again. Here you go.
That's the funny thing about some of these churches at their vacation Bible schools. They, we're way off on a tangent now, but we'll just follow that.
I don't hate it though.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. They, always, if you're visiting, we love to have your kid. You join us on a Sunday and all this stuff. Not realizing that the people that are visiting, they go to another church in town. They're just doing the same thing that we did and go to 10 different VBSs in the summer.
Yeah, I'm very confident that the people in Lynchburg taking their kids to VBS has a church that they're already going to.
I have seen several parents of kids that go to our church at Thomas Road tonight. But hey, it's all good.
Exactly.
So football.
Back to football. So we talked about, and I'm not a gambling guy, but
that's where you got your name from, right?
It's good conversation to have about what the prediction is going to be for this season, not just from us, not just from AI. What does Vegas think these football teams are going to do this year? And the over-unders for a lot of the teams dropped about a week or two ago. And the Vegas thinks Liberty is going to win either 10 or 11 games this football season. John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, 10.5 is the over/under, and that's interesting. I was hoping it would come in below that, either at 10 even or 9.5. Because if that was the case, I'd be all in on that. Last year, Liberty was at 8.5, and Chad was heavy on buying the over at 8.5.
He put a lot of money on it.
He did, and I was hesitant, but I thought they could get there. But I thought 9 would be really good. But this year at 10.5. It's difficult. I mean, it's easy to sit there and say, yeah, we can win 12 games, but actually winning 12 games is not so easy. I mean, we remember the Sam Houston game last year and how that went. But the way I feel, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, Richie, is I would definitely not take the under just because I don't see that happening. I see, there's a chance Liberty could win 10. But I don't think it's a very good chance. I think it's more likely they win 11 or 12. But putting money on them winning at least 11, and again, this doesn't include the conference championship game or the bowl game, or potential playoff games. So it's just a regular season. So they'd have to win 11. And again, you got to think about it. You could Liberty very well probably will be an underdog at Appalachian State.
Yep.
So if Liberty loses that game, that's one loss. That's 11 wins max. It wouldn't be a shock for Liberty to lose one game in conference, whether it's a Sam Houston type deal from last year. So going 10-2 wouldn't be a shocker. So I don't know. 10.5. It's tied for the highest win total in the country. It's tough. What do you think about it?
I think the over, but I don't think the odds are going to be great for it. I don't think it's a number where you would want to unload the way Chad did last year, which was a great decision. He nailed that,
he hit that by Halloween, right?
Yeah, I think the Western Kentucky game, it was when he hit it, and he let us know. And I think last year I took the under in this same situation. I'm always cautiously optimistic. I do think this team has the talent and the coaching staff to win every game they play. I genuinely believe that, but I would not put my money on a bet like this because you just don't know what's going to happen. it's June 12th to hope something happens in November is crazy. But we mentioned, so I lean over, but I'm not going to bet it. We talked about Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State being the next two teams in that you know next tier in Conference USA. They have them both at 7.5 wins. I think that's low for Jacksonville State, and I think that's pretty even for Western Kentucky. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And when I first saw these, the one I mentioned to you was Sam Houston, 4.5. If you can
Yeah,
get Sam Houston four and a
love
half,
that. That's
I'd
right
be
in that next tier. Yep, Sam
I'd be
Houston,
yeah.
Middle Tennessee State, La
There's a few
Tech.
at 4.5.
There's pretty much everyone but Kennesaw,
Yeah,
who
I
would
would
I guess
be.
are ineligible for
I think,
for the
yeah,
championship.
they are. They are. But I really like Sam Houston at the over 4.5.
Me too.
We had some discussion about this on social this week about, sleeper teams in Conference USA and championship contenders and bowl eligible teams and things like that. But I think that, Sam Houston, I'm not sure they'll get to 6. They could, but I definitely think they'll get to 5. They have a really good chance of getting to 5, and I wouldn't be shocked if they got to 6 or 7. Their season openers against Rice. That's a game. That's a winnable game
Yep.
on the road against an in-state opponent for them.
They have a new
in the
quarterback at
AAC.
Rice. Yep.
Yep. They got a new quarterback there, obviously, and that's a winnable game. If they get that, I would feel really good about hitting that over. So that's one team I would look at. I think, what was a stat, Richie? I texted to you earlier this week. They had, was it 5 one-score games that they lost? 5
and
one-score losses,
overtime
and
games,
2 of
like,
them in overtime.
Yeah,
and so there were, what did they win? 2 or 3 games last year. They were, a couple touchdowns away from getting to 5 last year, and they'll be even better this coming season. They have one of the highest rates of player returning players, returning production in the conference.
Yep.
They had some injury concerns last year. Jalen Jimerson, a Liberty safety last year, has transferred down there, so they've done some work there as well too. But I'm looking forward to seeing them play, and I think that game for Liberty Black Friday, the end of the regular season, is a sneaky game for the Flames. If Liberty is 10-1, let's say, going into that game, and the CFP is unlikely, they've already got a spot locked up in the Conference USA Championship game. Liberty doesn't have a lot to play for. Sam Houston does. I mean, they could potentially be playing for bowl eligibility that game, so that could be a tough game. And Matt's got a point here too about their offense here, and I agree with him. Their defense was really good, and the strength of their team, and they couldn't quite figure out their offense. But their offense started getting going late in the year, and they were able to figure some things out. But yeah, I think Sam Houston. Going over 4.5 would be my favorite bet if I were to make one out of these win totals in Conference USA.
So I agree. I think they're going to be a very talented, maybe not very talented. They're going to be a talented team that exceeds expectations. I think they're going to have a similar path to New Mexico State, where they kind of came out, they won games. They're going to beat those teams that maybe they're not expected to beat the way that New Mexico State beat like Western Kentucky last year. Like, I think I can see Sam Houston playing spoiler and then finding themselves in that championship game. But Turtle just made a great point about that Friday, Black Friday, getting one extra week for the Conference USA Championship game.
One extra day. So that's a Friday afternoon. We'd be
one
playing.
Extra day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one extra day. So we'd be playing Friday afternoon, and then the Conference Championship game is that Friday night. Hopefully back in Lynchburg. So yeah, it is an extra day. So that's good because most of the other teams will be playing on Saturday.
Yeah, I've already started to plant the seeds at work to say, yeah, I'm not going to be there Friday. I'm going to go down, knock on wood, for a conference championship game. Turtle's right though; they should have been 6-6. A lot of close games, but we're 45 minutes in, John. Anything else you want to add?
Did we want to talk about some of
the players?
Some of the what?
Sleeper players.
Sleeper players. Yeah.
Went under the radar.
Yeah.
Caden Salter's getting all the love, as he should.
Yes.
Quentin Cooley's getting some love. I think, and I mentioned this to you today too, think Cooley should get more love than he is getting. I mean, this is one of the top returning running backs by stats in the country on the top rushing offense team last year. So I think he needs to get more love than he's been getting. I think he's being underplayed. Is that how you say it? Because of Caden. But I think those two are obviously the headliners. But there's some other guys on the team that I think are kind of under the radar, maybe not being talking about as much, won't get a lot of preseason love. I think a guy like Billy Lucas, another running back, he's a guy that
Vaughn Blue, like that whole running back room. But Billy Lucas is, I believe, the second guy up. He had a lot of injuries last year. Played most of the games, but was hampered by injury. Might have had his touches limited. I really think what Liberty's going to do this year, at least their plan will be to limit Cooley's touches, especially early in the season. Don't have him running the ball 15 plus times a game. Maybe keep it down to 8 to 12 and see Lucas and Blue and guys like that as well. Get some touches. Like I think they tried to do that last year, but injuries kind of derailed that plan. Turtle, I can't call him Steven. Like, I'm sorry, he's Turtle. Never call him Steven. But you think Caden Williams redshirts has a chance to contribute? I heard that's a running back there as a freshman. I had heard in the spring that he was looking really good and may have a chance to play as a true freshman, which is crazy to think about with that loaded running back room and having a guy like that come in there. I would anticipate he's likely to redshirt, but again, Liberty plays two running backs most of the time, so injuries are going to happen, even if it's just for a game or two here and there. We saw what happened with Vaughn Blue last year. Hopefully, we can keep him healthy this season. But I wouldn't be shocked if Caden plays. We said that last year. We said, all right, hey, the expectation is Vaughn Blue's going to redshirt, and then by the time fall practice started or summer practice, everyone went, this kid has to be on the field.
Oh yeah. I mean, he had to. He was just that good, and he was going to be the Bedgood role before he got hurt, and then Bedgood came out of nowhere, which thankfully we got him from State Farm, right? That was huge. But question here from Benjamin: has Fortenberry developed like we'd hoped as an outside? Blue is healthy. He's back ready to go. Fortenberry, it'll be interesting. I don't think we're quite ready for him to be a key player there on the outside. I'm hopeful he still has a chance. He's still young. The biggest issue with him coming in was he was just too small. He needed to put on some weight. Not small in stature. He's a tall kid, 6'3", 6'4", but just need to put on some weight. He has put on some weight, could stand to gain a few more pounds. Also consistency. That was something he struggled with or has struggled with going back to last season and in practice and as well as in the spring. So he's really, hasn't been able to quite take that next leap, but I'm hoping that he can soon.
Talked a lot about offense. Give me a player on defense. Obviously we know TJ Bush. Who's going to be Brylan Green? Who's going to be a guy that we're talking about in mid-October who is wearing the Joker mask and the next name that we know on that side of the ball?
So yeah, it's hard. I started to say I got two, but then a couple more names popped to my head. Bryce Dixon's a name that we should already know, but on the interior of the defensive line, I think he's a first-team all-conference performer this year. He's really good. He's taken a huge step in the spring, and I think he's going to be a guy we can't take off the field this fall. CJ Bazile at that Joker position. Speaking of the Joker mask, not that that position doesn't lend itself to lots of turnovers, but maybe get a strip sack or something like that. But yeah, CJ Bazile, I think he'll take a big step as far as being able to pressure the quarterback. I think he was coming on towards the end of the year last year. Similar to TJ Bush, he just hadn't played a lot prior to last year. I think those are two names there. Taylor Jackson's another one. Well, I'll give you two at linebacker. I think Taylor Jackson, the East Carolina transfer, he might lead the team in tackles. But I also think Jamar Brown, a transfer from Coastal Carolina, he's another guy that's going to get a lot of playing time at linebacker too. I think both of those guys are going to be, key pieces this coming season.
John, you're the GOAT. No one rattles off new players that 98% of fans have never heard of. All right, answer that question real quick, because I don't have the answer.
What happened to the wide receiver who transferred from West Virginia last year but was injured and didn't play? That's Reese Smith, wide receiver, tore his ACL about this time last year. It was last June. He was somebody that I expected before his injury last year to probably lead the team in receptions, targets and receptions, maybe not yardage. That was obviously before CJ Daniels had his breakout. Reese Smith's still in the mix. He did not practice during the spring. Obviously, an ACL, it's going to be a year plus to get back to full strength. He should be ready to go, I would assume, by training camp. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I mean, if you remember CJ Daniels, if you go back a couple years, he tore his ACL, missed a season, came back the next year, and was really hampered by that most of that year, and ended up under Coach Freeze, they shut him down and he redshirted. So Reese Smith, he'll be back in the rotation this year. I would assume he's probably not going to be back to full strength to start the year, but maybe by the end of the year. But he's a guy they really liked a year ago out of that slot position. But we got a lot of guys in the slot this year. That's probably our deepest position. Well, and running back.
I think that wide receiver room, there's a lot of question marks, but there's also a lot of players where, hey, if a couple can pop, we're going to be okay. All right, keep the questions going.
Man, we just got them rolling over here in the chat right now. Chat's popping. So we'll just keep going. The Vandy and Wisconsin, I'm reading them for those of you watching can see it, but when you listen back to them, you won't be able to see it. So what about the Vandy and Wisconsin linebacker transfers? Hopefully they'll be great depth. I expect them to be depth. You're talking about Aiden Vaughn, Wisconsin transfer. The Vandy transfer's name slip in my mind right now. I apologize, but I expect both those guys have, I believe, 4 years of eligibility left. They redshirted at their power conference school this past year. They could be in the mix if there's injuries or whatnot, but I think they're mainly depth pieces, high potential type guys that'll be able to step in and play if needed, if there's injuries or whatnot. But Turtle, again, a great comment here, and I agree with you. I think linebacker's been completely transformed. We went from being maybe the thinnest position, probably the thinnest. Thanks, Turtle, Ethan Chris from Vandy. But linebacker was the thinnest position on the team last year. Tyron Dupree obviously was a conference defensive player of the year, led the team in tackles. He's obviously exhausted his eligibility and has moved on. But Coach Chadwell made sure that position was a position of emphasis and just loaded it up in the transfer portal and got some guys with multiple years of eligibility remaining. So not only is it good top end with Jamar Brown and Taylor Jackson, like I just mentioned, and you got Jerome Jolly. Don't forget about him too.
Yes.
But those three kind of be your nucleus. And Joe Harris, not Joe Harris. Shoot, what's his name? Joe Turtle. Help me out. Joe, he was a walk-on and got a scholarship last year. He'll be in the mix there too. But these two, the Vandy and Wisconsin transfers, Vaughn and Chris, will add to the depth there too. So we're good to go.
For the off season.
That was tough. That was tough.
I think for the off season, no guests, and tucked behind the curtain, we made very little plans before the show. We said, let's talk about X, Y, and Z. No,
hey, it's the summer, baby. We're enjoying the
summer
with our family.
Summer vibes. It's summer vibes shirt. Like this is
You got VBS season. Like we didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but we did prepare a little bit. Joseph Carter, thanks, Turtle. Joseph Carter is the other one.
Shout out Turtle.
Turtle's the man too. So, but we got
follow Turtle. If you're not following Turtle, he's the guy to when recruits tweet, he's the guy. He's getting in the mix.
He's there.
He's commenting. He's liking. You can't see likes anymore on Twitter, but that's okay. but he's the guy to talk to.
Yeah, but no,
Anything
it was a great show, Richie. Appreciate you hosting us, holding us down. Like I said earlier, we'll be back in July sometime. We'll figure out between vacation schedules when we can get together and let's do it again.
Let's call it now. Let's get together the Wednesday before NCAA 25 comes out.
Ooh, let's do it.
I think that's the move, right?
Let's do it. Has everybody saved up for PS5? Did you get one?
Not yet. I'm going to. I have to. What, am I not going to get one?
I know. I'm in the same situation. I don't even have a game system, but I got to get one just for the game.
And we have a great blog coming out about.
Don't spoil.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a great blog coming out about what everyone should do when they first get the game.
Yeah, we read the preview of it today. It's hilarious.
Very, very funny.
It's hilarious, and it's also it's good. It's gives some good insight, and we're all looking forward to that game. But yeah, let's get together. What's that? Mid July, I believe. So
like the 16th, if the game comes out the 9th. I don't remember what
something around there.
What date? Somewhere around there. We're gonna shoot for that Tuesday, Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Then. But as always, thank you so much to anyone who is tuning in live, whether it's YouTube or on Twitter. Anyone who's checking this out later on, thank you so much for your support. We do this because we love Liberty Athletics, and we love getting to just chat about this team and this university, and getting to share that message out with everyone else. And as always, stay blessed, stay hydrated, stay fly. We'll see you next month.